Best greetings to all my BDP-BCPR colleagues and friends. I am very happy to be able to be part of this important retreat. Thank you very much for availing me this opportunity. As concerns the first topic of discussions, issues, challenges and opportunities, allow me to speak briefly about the context of joint UNDP cooperation between BCPR and BDP in this region, in the region of Western and Central Africa. Firstly, it is important to note that this region will mark basically next year 50 years of the independence of most of these countries. And it is striking that during the 50 years, the economic composition of GDP, the exports, the main structure of the economy has not practically changed. The primary commodities remain the main products, both produced in the country and also exported. Poverty and unemployment is rampant. Almost 50% of the population of the region, which is about 300 million, lives below poverty lines. Weak institutions which basically allow and do not have the capacities to counter for growing conflicts between different groups of population, ethnic and religious. New challenges on top of this traditional developmental issues are challenges related to climate change, to more and more often natural disasters, and also being part of the global economy. The region definitely suffers very much from the global financial and economic crisis. This is the context which certainly has to be taken into account both in reflection, analysis, understanding, but also proposing practical solutions for UNDP action for the effectiveness of our assistance in the region. It is important to note as well that UNDP, and in this context BDP and BCPR play a leading role. UNDP is not the only organization working in this region. There are many partners, international organizations, World Bank, African Development Bank and many others, but also the UN system. And I believe that a tremendous opportunity for this joint collaboration between BDP and BCPR is the UN reform and the process which builds up one UN concept in the field. These are important elements which also are highlighted by many of the donors who, being aware of those emerging conflicts and problems and challenges, would like and are demanding in a way a longer term developmental approach to solving the problems of the region. When it comes to focus areas of work for joint work between BDP and BCPR, I would like to highlight a few issues important for this region. Firstly, it's important to note that this region is prone to humanitarian assistance, which is, I would say, kind of a latent, perennial, related mostly so far to natural disasters. OCHA spends about $100 million a year for 15 countries. It's not much, but the needs are growing, and it is quite clear that the underlying causes of this humanitarian crisis is underdevelopment and poverty. And this is where our joint work should focus very much. That means strengthening the links between humanitarian assistance, early recovery and longer term development. Secondly, it's important to link the key elements of assistance, which very often figure as separate areas. namely conflict prevention, disaster risk reduction in the whole UN and UNDP program cycle, from analytical work, the CCA, UNDP, to implementation and monitoring and evaluation. It's also of key importance, and it basically links directly with the sustainability of our efforts, is the need for mainstreaming or integrating rather conflict prevention and risk reduction in national policies such as PRSP, analysis, needs assessment for Millennium Development Goals, national budgets. Therefore, the work with national counterparts, with the governments, with civil society is of prime importance. Fourthly, clear need of strengthening conflict prevention and democratic governance. The issue of weak institutions, both on national and local levels, means that the service delivery to the population suffers, and there is a clear link between governance, poverty, and emerging conflicts and divisions within the societies. And also, we need to look at the poverty reduction issues linked clearly with employment. Just as in developed countries, unemployment is a key political issue for all political parties. Poverty and unemployment is one of the fundamental issues which basically undermines the stability of this region and also affects many other countries beyond the region. This is important as UNDP should work together with other agencies such as ILO in the employment generation activities. The last point relates to how BDP and BCPR could jointly strengthen their support to the field. I would say, and referring to the last point, to the previous points, I would underline two fundamental issues. Firstly, combining the rapid response of BCPR with broad development context and sustainability of results, which is basically the speciality of BDP. Putting these two elements together gives a big advantage. Secondly, addressing the regional issues across regional bureaus. Just as an example, mainly in Africa, Northern and Western and Central Africa, which are covered by two bureaus. Similarly, the Horn of Africa and the Great Lakes region. BCPR and BDP are cross-bureau departments of UNDP. They should be the ones who help UNDP and the bureaus to address cross-border, cross-regional issues. In concluding, we could talk about many different issues. I would like to mention basically certain principles which I believe both BCPR and BDP should include very strongly in their work, address it jointly in seeking effectiveness and efficiency of UNDP development intervention. Firstly is the impartiality, not neutrality, but impartiality of our work. Secondly, it's the issue of participation of all the stakeholders, the inclusiveness of different social groups, ethnic, religious, in our activities. Thirdly, the national ownership. And fourthly, sustainability. From longer period, from longer perspective, and from the rapid response intervention in response to crisis, these four areas must remain the main principles that UNDP addresses. I believe that this will contribute to the discussion. I would like to underline also that the importance of BDP-BCPR agreement, and let us not forget that basically the way the country offices operate in the field depends as well on how whole UNDP functions, how the rules and regulations are applied and formulated. In this respect, I believe that other parts of UNDP should join hands together with BCPR and BDP to respond to the changing environment and to the challenges of all the organization. I wish you successful discussions in this very important retreat. Thank you very much.